For the past few weeks, I've been sharing beach walks with you here on South Hutchinson, and I'm still here. This island has been so good to me lately, and it's been exciting finding shells here, which does not always happen on a regular basis. This afternoon, the treasures are mostly mixed in or hiding in the seaweed on the high rock line, but praise God, they're here. We'll find so many good-sized shark eye moons and other fantastic shells. I also got a little bit curious about the dredging project on the north end at the Fort Pierce Inlet, so we'll check out that too, and I'll show you what I found up there. Welcome to Florida Beach Walks. I'm Roxanne. Let's go shelling. Earlier this morning, I was at Walton Rocks wrapping up an episode which I already shared with you. And I had to take a peek out here also going farther north towards the condos. And I love it. There's shells here too. There's shells all up and down this island lately, which is fantastic. That was a giant bittersweet clam, a little rough, but I'm holding on to it for projects. This would have been such a gorgeous find. Oh, look at that. It comes with a free vertebrae, a bonus vertebrae in the aperture. Oh, I wish this was not broken. This is a hawkwing, and it's a really good size one. I'll hold on to it and admire it, and most likely add this to a 1.5 pound of shell bag that I do offer on Etsy of shells. Not perfect, but good for crafts and starter shells or event decor for bowls and such. Here is a shark eye of many that we will find this afternoon, and it's late in the afternoon. This is, I think, around like 3-4 o'clock in the afternoon. Okay, not going to take that olive, but we're going to run into some fantastic olives a little bit later up at the inlet. Ooh, I can't believe some of the olives that I found. I found a really nice dark one, just beautiful. That was a spectral bittersweet, and we have a chestnut turban. It's a bit windy out now, and I did get rained on. The sun's out, but it went away. I got rained on. Here's the mossy arc, but it did come back out. And a juvenile giant bittersweet. That one's pretty solid color. Let's see, looking under, oh, we have a lightning Venus clam looking under all of this seaweed out here. And I was the only one out on this long stretch. There was someone trying to get married though. I don't know if they did or not. I wasn't paying attention, but I was like, it's a little hard to get married out here, because the wind was blowing so bad, and I felt bad for them. And then the rain came, so I don't know exactly. I don't know if they got married or not. Maybe they just did real quick. Let's see. We got a no, that's not a chestnut ladder. That is a tinted cantharus. We'll find some chestnut ladder shells a little later. Here's a couple of jingle shell, nice orange ones. Let's see, and a little baby mossy arc. And here is a much bigger one. All right, so I'm tearing up the seaweed in this one area. Do you see it? Please do not be broken like the hawkwing. Oh my goodness. Wow. That is stellar. Woo! Beautiful. Oh man. Yes, this completely makes up for the hawkwing. What a beautiful Caribbean vase. And the inside was still a little bit shiny. It has some shells jammed up in there. No problem. Those popped right out, and just beautiful. The brown skin is called periostracum. That's on the outside of the shells. And I love bleaching up these. It leaves some pretty lines sometimes. Just gorgeous. All right, so I got out my big guns. My shell catcher, because I wanted to really start checking. You know, I was like lightly glancing under the seaweed, but no, now I'm really at it. I was like, I need a tool. And here we go. It's a rough file clam. These are also fun too. That dark is its periostracum as well, and that bleached off pretty good. Oh, a busted reticulated calorie helmet, but I cannot complain because a few beach walks ago on the same island, which is what's kept me here, I found this one. And yes, I have named this shell reticuli. And it has kept me on this island for the past few beach walks, the hope and the hunt. Just the sheer joy of finding a special shell like this. What a moment. Just what a moment. And if you missed that beach walk, I will link it in this video's description. Just absolutely amazing. So I don't think I could ever complain about finding another reticulated calorie helmet if it's not perfect, because that one was just perfection. Here is an Atlantic jewel box, also known as the Florida jewel box, the left-handed one. And on Hutchinson, they're known for these dark orangier ones. In most shell identification books, that's a calico. They're going to be like a white with a little bit of a burnt brick around their swirl. And another juvenile giant bittersweet. Man, that wind is really going. And when it started to rain, I was like fighting with the umbrella. Oh, I could barely hold the umbrella. It was just, it was crazy. Another nice jingle baby's foot shell. Here's another one. Here is a turkey wing, and here comes the rain, if I can hold it. And here comes the rain. But I'm prepared. I got my umbrella. I would use a rain jacket, but you know, to have the camera like clear without the rain being on the camera, an umbrella just works the best. Here's a leafy jewel box. These are beautiful. Growing in the opposite direction of the last jewel box we picked up, a calico. I really like the growth lines on that. With it dark like that, you can really see that good. And here is a Florida prickly cockle. A little weathered. Another cockle, an egg cockle. Lots of egg casings on this beach too. That's what that squiggly line is up there. A lightning whelk casing. And there's a spectral bittersweet chocolate candy shell. And yay, an imperial Venus clam. A little bit rough, but these are so fun to find. Even in a rough state. Here is a purplish simile, lacking a little purple, but that's still a fun shell. We have a king's crown, or a crown conch, not a true conch. And here's the lower half of that left-handed jewel box, the orange one that we found the lid to. That's what the base looks like. Here's another turkey wing. I found some really nice turkey wings. I didn't realize how many I did find till I had them all together at the shell haul. An orange scaly scallop. And a yellow prickly cockle. Pretty on the outside, lacking on the inside. And I think this one is the albino version to that. I don't find those too often, so that was pretty neat. Even with the predator hole smack dab in the middle of its umbo. Yeah, yeah, you're broken, you giant ton piece. Okay, I think I've come to a conclusion that I'm probably going to only find those snorkeling. We'll see. I'm gonna keep looking. Here's another imperial Venus clam. Here's another moon. I almost took a fall there, squatting down. I'll blame it on the wind, because I'm not getting old. It's great finding all of these moons out here like this. And the ones I did find out here are true shark eyes. There is a different species known as a false shark eye that I find at time to time as well. And those will have more of a protruding eye on the top. And underneath on the umbilicus, you'll see like kind of like a sharp depression, and all these were pretty smooth. That's the difference in a nutshell between those two species. And here's a chestnut lattice. Ooh, and this is another purplish simile, but in the orange variety, and that is very bright one. And here's a cluster of Titan acorn barnacles. Little juvenile ones. Those can get so massively large. Goodness. Here's another mossy arc. Just the other day, I was at the Sebastian Inlet and I found a lot of those acorn barnacles, but just really, really big. And a lady, another sheller, had found a huge hand, like a fist cluster of Titan acorn barnacles. Just amazing how big they can get. I took a little quick clip of it, and I'll show you that when I share that beach walk. Let's see what we got here. Hey, that's a really nice tinted cantharus. I really like those dark ones. The caramel ones can be pretty too, but the dark ones are really nice. Yay, a bubble. These can be very easily overlooked because they just blend right in with the sand, especially that one with the calcification on it, which I did acid dip that one and it just cleaned all off. It used, let's see, Acid Magic. And a giant Atlantic cockle, another project shell. And I'll hold on to the top of this lightning whelk for a project as well. Okay, it's starting to rain again. I thought I was going to escape when it stopped raining, but nope. second pour. If I can hold on to it. I'm telling you, this wind was so bad and fighting this umbrella. Good grief. Like an octopus out here. It is missing its hinge wings, this calico, but I absolutely love the orange calico scallops, and I really want to get to Sanibel. Oh, if I didn't have anything to do, I would just get in my car and go to Sanibel this week and just sit down and comb through scallops. Oh, here's some more shark eyes. I like the dark staining on the right one, and here's a chestnut lattice. That's a really good one. Nice sharp tip on that, and those chestnuts can get about as big as that crown, like the really giant ones. Here's another bright scaly scallop, just beautiful, and a tinted cantharus and a chewed up lace murex. I'll hold on to it just to hold on to it because don't run into a lot of lace murexes on the East Coast, but when you do, like, oh man, in Delray I was pulling out some beautiful lace murexes out of the dredge piles, and a few buried on the beach. Just gorgeous. Those coconut lace murexes can be awesome. Let's see, we got a little chestnut turban, little tiny guy. Let's see, and a small shark eye from comparing to all the bigger ones we are finding. And here's another chestnut, a little bit, not chestnut, yeah, chestnut turban. And a calico, a really nice calico. Now, the black staining on that one did come out. I soaked that in the 6% hydrogen peroxide, and that came out very, very good. Calicos and lightning whelks actually lighten up pretty good with the 6% hydrogen peroxide. Gorgeous, gorgeous shark eye. And a true tulip. Okay, this is like really special. It's tiny, there's no chips on it, and it's perfect. My other whole intact East Coast True Tulip was also on Hutchinson Island. And here's a green star, and that is really green. This is like the greenest periostracum that I've seen on the star shells. A lot of times they're like a dingy green to brown. Now this one is the largest one that I found in my hand. Okay, you can't tell the size of my hands because my hands are very, very big. But Mercy, this one, it is, wait a minute, no, not that one. There's another one that is really big that had the black on it, but that's so cool. It was just amazing finding all these, and I know it's because of that dredge. Wow, look at that scaly scallop is showing off. Showing off its bright highlighter color. And here's the lightning whelk. But I really think those shark eyes were coming in because of that dredge, because I did find two really big ones just laying up in the sand, in that dredge pile sand. Okay, now here's the big one. That's the one I thought I found before. It's so large. A little bit ratty on the inside, and I tried to acid clean that in the inside, but it didn't clean up too good on the inside. But man, it is so huge. Put that in Chalet's hand or my daughter Skylar's hand, and it would just be like a monster. All right, here's an orange rough scallop. Let's see, and another tinted. Okay, I did run into a lot of tinted cantharus shells. And more shark eyes. I hope you're not tired of looking at shark eyes. The swirl, they're just so pretty. Their eye. And the blue ones, they're known as like Paul Newman's because of Paul Newman was known for his beautiful blue eyes. So the shark eyes, blue, are known for their blue eyes. hits that common name. Nice turkey wing and lightning whelks. These beat up broken turkey's wing makes a really good base for my shell flowers because it's so large. And an apple murex, and it's a little guy, but it's in pretty good condition. And here is a red brown arc. It's a little bit cracked, but I like these arc shells. I just do. And another gorgeous moon. Now, would that qualify as a Newman? Maybe. Here's a broad paper cockle. Like these paper cockles. The spiny paper cockle, I guess, is the one that's more like on the white side with just a touch of color. And the ones that are really like saturated with colors would be the broad paper cockles. So that's confusing sometimes, especially with the one that I just showed you, because it looks a little bit lighter to me than the other saturated ones I have found before. Worse condition than the other orange one, but I'm gonna hold on to it. I just really like these orange calicos, busted or not. And here's a lightning whelk that it has that iron sulfide staining. That's what that dark gray staining is. And this one did lighten up pretty fast in the hydrogen peroxide once I soaked that one. And another fabulous scaly scallop. Here's a bottle bottom, but it's not frosted at all, but I will hold on to it for the shell haul. But that does not qualify as sea glass. Now just look at that. That is a giant eastern murex, but it's looking a little old. Yeah, a lot pitted. But this would make a great succulent planter. I really like using the larger shells like this, especially if they have natural holes for drainage. For succulents, oh, that would have been awesome though. If it was to get this, so hard to find these really nice and pristine. But I don't know what happened to the shell. I put it in my backpack because I didn't want to put it in the shell bag with all the shark eyes. And I have no clue where it is. I think it's in the trunk. Like, I was using my backpack for other things too. So I don't know. Still, that it's MIA. So it was not a part of this shell haul. So I had a lot of fun. The shells were out, high rack line, a whole bag full of shark eyes, which was amazing. And I did check out at Fort Pierce Inlet because all this dredging going on, all these shark eyes, it was just so unusual to find that in this area. So here I am at Jetty Park, which is the Fort Pierce Inlet. That is the barge, I guess, that the dredge ship will pull up beside that and unload all the sand. Then you can hear the sand in the pipe and all. There was so much sand that this had put out 400,000 cubic yards of sand from these, authorized areas that they take the sand from just a mile off. And then they went a mile down the beach. Well, it's supposed to go a mile down the beach. And the shells here, the apple murex was pretty big, and these olive shells. And this moon was just gorgeous because the underside of that, it was purple, like underneath of that was just stunning. And these were just laying right on top of the sand. And I didn't come here to shell. I just wanted to pop out and see what was going on, like how far they are in this project. But I was going to come back to spend a little more time. So this is all about like 5 minutes of shelling. Check out that olive. just stunning little mountain peaks. So this was not bad for 5-10 minutes, just walking straight out to the water's edge and walking straight back and taking a few clips. So I did come back with Corey and Ella about a week later, and we had a little bit, I spent a little more time here, maybe 45 minutes. It's a hinged spectral bittersweet. I've never found a hinged spectral bittersweet, and you can tell it's got its goopy stuff in it. It is fresh. It was probably sucked up alive because I did find a lot of dead ones in there. But gorgeous olives too, nice and shiny, and they kind of stunk, so they probably got sucked up alive. I was just shuffling the sand, kind of like my method at Delray. Found like a lot of clusters or shell bits on top, and just right under the surface is like a honey hole of shells in certain areas. You can find a lot of that on dredge beaches, and I did here too.
Love bug season, lots of love bugs.
So we got an apple murex, and this is a shallow dig. We just sat down like not even a foot underneath, just surfacely. Gorgeous Scotch bonnet, hello. And that had its goopy guy in it too. It just drained out when I was washing them in the hose up by where you can wash like fish and stuff at the jetty park. They have a hose there. So I just cleaned these off, and look, the dark olive is just so nice. And all these were just glossy, but check this out. I have never seen a lettered olive that dark, glossy, and gorgeous. My sweet Ella.
Thank you.
We had a really fun afternoon out here, and we didn't stay too long. And that olive looks albino, but it's albino-ish. It had some yellow coloring on the underside. And here are all of these shells that I found out on South Hutchinson Island from our beach walk today. And all the moons, I just can't get over how many. But this Caribbean vase, yep, takes the cake. It's my favorite shell from this beach walk, and it cleaned up just stunning. Here's how it looked with all the periostracum on it before I put it in a bleach bath of 50% bleach, 50% water, and it just cleaned up gorgeous. Now I did notice a little tiny hole. It looks like a predator hole on the tip of that, but it's just so pretty. The line, the color, these Caribbean vase shells. I love shells. They're just so gorgeous. God's amazing artwork. All the shells just cleaned up really nice, and I oiled them up as well. Even the calico missing its hinged wings, and that tulip. I am so excited to have another East Coast tulip, a true tulip at that. And here is the rough file clam. This cleaned up really nice as well. All that periostracum, this bleached off as well. Nice chestnut ladder shells, and the Imperial Venus clams, a little rough, but just still awesome. Apple murexes, that calico that cleaned up, and all the whelks cleaned up as well. And I did keep the broken reticulated cowrie helmet piece. This is like the typical size that I would find, and that is reticuli compared to it. Yep, I'm still just speechless over this shell. Like, I feel so blessed to have found a shell like this. Thank you, God. I'm just so excited. And here's all the moons cleaned up. Sorry, I almost got emotional there. No, I did get emotional there. And a lot of turkey wings. I found more turkey wings than I thought I would. So I'm going to have some listings on Etsy of the turkey wings. Beautiful spectral bittersweets. All the orange on the scaly scallops and those orange purplish similes were really nice. Lots of tinted cantharus shells as well. And just a few olives from here. I just got my Mecca olives from the jetty park at Fort Pierce Inlet. So thank you so much for watching. And this is the last week to enter my 10K subs giveaway. For all of the information on that, just head over to my website at floridabeachwalks.com. The giveaway ends on May 19, 2026. Please like, share, and subscribe. And until next time, I leave you with this.